All right, good evening, and we just got back from a meetup at the practice facility. So for people who came out to the meetup and had lunch with us after, thank you very much. That was a good time.
Was.
And again, I like the food from there.
He gave us so much food, though.
Yeah, I like the food. I know I've heard people say, "Oh, CNA food isn't that good," but I didn't have a problem with it. It was
I've
good.
never heard anybody say that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like it.
Waitress did a good job,
Yep.
considering how many different bills there were to keep track of. And seemed pleasant on the outside. I always wonder how much complaining is going on backstage. You know, a bunch of ignorant, stupid Canadians out there. It's with all the Canadians. But yeah, that went well. And then, I don't know if you saw how much the bill was.
No.
But I made it so the tip made it all equal exactly $25.
There you go.
So let's see, 15. So she got about a 40% tip
We're dealing with a big group.
for that, and for the fact that our food was mixed up. So she brought us free food.
Give us an extra plate of food.
So for that reason, I was like, yeah, all right, I'll throw a tip that adds up to
Equals
be a
that
lot.
food.
Yeah. So last night we went and saw Fantasy, which meant we got home
Stupid late.
after 1 in the morning.
Yeah, well, it ended after midnight.
Yes.
It was quite long.
It actually was. So Fantasy is a showgirl style show, and there's topless women in it. But it was entertaining, and they had 2 different hosts. Lorena, who is fantastic. And then Sean came out. He was the comedian for the second half part. And honestly, it was a pretty darn good show.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, you kind of, the whole toplessness thing just kind of doesn't really matter, and you're just watching the choreography and, all the sparkles of Vegas. Lots of
There was a
sparkles.
lot of sparkle.
Even sparkly lipstick,
Yeah.
which I meant to
They
ask
had
her.
sparkly on them, like
I meant to
sparkly
ask her where
lotion
she
or
got the
something.
sparkly lipstick, because that's crazy, but I didn't ask her. I don't know why I would ask her, because I don't wear
Weird.
lipstick. I know it may not show, but I don't. This is all natural. So, I thought it was an entertaining show. It was the only show of that variety in Vegas that I found that had a really consistently good rating, and it said that it was good for couples. And before anybody says anything, I have suggested to her Chippendales and Thunder Down Under frequently. Every time we've been here, I'm like, hey, do you want to go see that? Because I'll buy you tickets. I don't have a problem buying you a ticket for that. And her answer has been no. So this isn't just...
I really, really don't want to.
Shannon got her to go to this show, but he's a jerk. He won't let her. No, be fine with me.
No, I have no desire.
I think it would be hilarious. I think if Chippendales were down grinding in her face, I think it would be hilarious, because she'd be so squeamish. So, but yeah, the show was really entertaining. The outfits were outfits. Wasn't really a whole lot to it.
No, there literally was not
Nah.
a lot to it.
A lot of sparkles, though. Wherever
There
you could
was.
get sparkles, they got sparkles.
Regarding the outfits,
Yes.
the girder belts not clipped to stockings was mildly irritating. There was
I'm wondering if
dance
maybe they
number
didn't have the time.
that 4 of them were wearing garters. One had them on properly. One did have the thigh-high stockings, but weren't clipped. And then the other 2 were wearing fishnets. So there wasn't even something to clip them to.
So, again, if
It
you're a guy
defeats
watching
the
this,
purpose of wearing a garter belt.
guys wouldn't have noticed, but Eagle Eye here
Whatever,
did.
don't.
But I would,
Guys
I
like
would
the
say,
look of garter belts aren't right. Isn't that why they would wear them? Because
Yeah.
they know they look good, they're sexy, whatever.
Yes.
But they didn't have them on correctly, so it was like they had 4 little dangly. No, it was silly. And 2 of them didn't even have the thigh-high stockings to go with the garter belts. It was just
again, I'm wondering if it was a rush costume
it's
change.
like wardrobe faux pas. Like, do they not even know what they're for?
I don't know how many guys were in the audience to notice, but again, I would say about 30% of that crowd was women.
Yeah.
So odds are you weren't the only woman who was thinking that same thing.
What in the world?
So
Like one of them, she even had the thigh highs, just didn't clip them on. It would have looked a lot better because it makes it so the garter rides up when it's not clipped to something, and then it just looks weird.
I guess they figured it was just a short little dance number anyways and figured it didn't matter. But if it didn't matter, there wasn't really any point in including it. So
It's just silly. It was mildly irritating.
but it was a fun little show. It was again, we were there as a couple. We weren't the only couple that was there.
No.
There was a couple celebrating their 30th anniversary down front. So the first host, Lorena, she
And we definitely
picked on 'em.
weren't some of the older people.
No.
Most of the people there were our age or older.
Yep, there were a few bachelor parties there.
A couple groups of guys.
But they were isolated little groups. For the most part, it was an older crowd.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty quiet, really.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part. There were definitely girls that some of the guys sitting behind us had labeled as their favorites.
There were.
There were a few. And there was the one girl, Ashton, who is so much taller.
She was so tall.
She is really tall. And very good dancer. And the one trick with this, too, was that not everybody is as good a dancer as everybody else.
We're not all at the same skill level.
So some of them, it was just everything was on point, and some of them are clearly still learning. I think the fact that the two that we isolated as being lacking with the dancing, they're not in the calendar.
That's what I was just going to say.
So
the
they
ones
probably
that we
haven't
noticed
been
not
there as
being as
long.
good weren't on the calendar, so they could have been newer girls.
Yep.
And they might not have just had the routines down like the other girls who could have been there longer. Well, if they're in the calendar, they would have been there longer.
Yep.
And so they've got those routines down.
And the one girl, Jessica, who did the aerials with
Holy crap.
Oh, she is fantastically
She came
strong.
out at the beginning and I was like, oh my gosh, that one girl has like an 8-pack.
Yeah.
She's like 0% body fat.
Oh,
And then
she
she's
is fit
doing...
and a half.
She did where you have the two pieces of fabric and they like climb them and tie them in such a way.
Well, first she did the
and
stripper
go down.
poles.
Yeah, yeah.
And with the
No,
stripper poles, she
you
was...
don't call them stripper poles.
Okay, well, that's what they
She
are.
wasn't stripping on them. Oh, but she was doing insane.
Okay, so she was pole
Trick.
dancing. So we can agree it's called pole dancing. And yeah, she was just
Ridiculous.
crazy good at it.
Ridiculously athletic woman.
And then the rest of her aerial stuff was
She-
absolutely
and
on point.
Yeah.
And there were points where both Yvonne and I were worried she was going to fall on her head.
But she
So-
has some serious skills there.
Her strength, like at one point, she had just her neck holding her up.
Yeah.
The rest of her's just hanging there while she's spinning, holding on by her neck. And there's another point where it's just one ankle.
Yeah, she had it tied
And she
on
had
one
it tied
ankle,
around on
upside
one
down.
ankle upside down, and she's spinning. And seriously, mad respect for that. That's just a crazy amount of talent. Whatever that woman's being paid isn't likely enough, because that took some crazy amount of talent.
Yeah, very talented.
And it honestly very, very good group and entertaining. If you're looking for that kind of thing, because again, when we're in Vegas, I'm looking for something I can't find at home. So tonight we're going to a Cirque show. Tomorrow night we're going to a Cirque show, because we don't get Cirque du Soleil a whole lot where we are, and we're obviously not going to get
when we
Ka.
do, they're completely different.
We're not going to get Zumanity.
These-
We're not going to
this-
get like Love, which we went to last time we were here.
So we do get Cirque shows that come to the area. We've seen them I've seen Cirque in Abbotsford. They come to Vancouver fairly often. But it's very different. When they
Yep.
come locally, they're usually there for about a week. The Cirque shows that are here for a long time. Frequently for years, and so they have the stages built specifically for that show. Like Love, we saw the stage is built like a star and the seats are all around, and then they have parts of the stage that goes up or go down, so they're made specifically for that show. So it's not something that they would be able to do and travel and it would be the same. They would have to do a pared down version. So when we say visiting a Cirque show here, it's very different than the traveling ones
Yep.
that come.
Yeah, Cirque du
The-
Soleil
the-
shows are fantastic.
The stage is just crazy.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm excited for that one.
So yeah, and the whole showgirl thing, it was the third time we've been here, and I thought, well, we'll watch one of these shows and see what it's all about. And again, there were other shows that might have had more girls, there were other shows that were closer, but I thought, you know what, instead of going with that, I'm going to go with the one that's the best rated, the one that gets the best reviews, the one that's in the reviews says is the best one for couples, and so that, you know, it's something that at least Yvonne might appreciate on some level. And the choreography was pretty good.
So it was different than a lot of others in that there was a host, and the host could genuinely sing. She was very good.
She's fantastic.
She was very good, and she could also dance. And then all the girls would have little dance routines, whether the host was singing the song or there was just music for them to dance to. So they were doing little choreographies. Some of them it would be one girl or three girls, or it would be the whole group. And then there was also a comedian that came in and did some things as well.
His James Brown was fantastic.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Sounds of James Brown. Ha! Ugh! Ha!
He was funny.
Yeah.
And then he did some things with the host. That was.
And he came out as dressed as Tina Turner.
That was funny.
Amazing.
And then they did some things with the crowd. They kind of picked on this one guy that was absolutely hilarious.
Jose?
Yeah, so it wasn't like a stripper show. It wasn't at all.
No.
It was like women dancers with some singing and comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good. And then, you know, towards the end, some of the girls came around, which was fine. Oh,
you mean when they like stood right in front of us?
Right in
Because
front
we
of
were
us.
in one of the middle rows.
Yep.
So they were right in front of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I kind of shook hands with the one girl because she was just great. Delicia. She was absolutely...
She was really good, yeah.
She was really, really strong dancer. Connected really well with the audience. I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah.
So... And the whole time I had my arm around Yvonne, I told her how much I loved her and how amazing she was.
Yes.
And
yes, Shannon made sure that...
kept making sure she was all right, everything's okay, it's going. So, because not every person I've been involved with would have been completely understanding about going to that show. So, you gotta give a little bit of appreciation back. And yeah, it was an entertaining show. I honestly, I'm not going to grade it. I would just say that if you want to see a show in Vegas,
that kind of show,
that's, you know, risque.
It wouldn't be for everybody.
It's not sleazy, but it's not sleazy.
It's not. No.
I honestly didn't find it particularly sexy. I thought it was choreographed to the point where it's, you know, there's these attractive girls, but it's more of the choreography. I think if guys were looking for, hey, we're going to go out somewhere partying for our
the girls aren't all oiled up and stuff like that.
No, I would think you'd rather go to one of the strip clubs rather than that show is not that same kind of thing. But if you're getting married,
is a very choreographed,
and you want to bring your fiance to this thing, that's where you take her. You don't take her to the other end of the city where things get a little less family friendly. So it's not a family-friendly show, but really, honestly, there wasn't a whole lot of foul language in it. There wasn't even...
There was definitely foul language in it.
With the comedian.
Yeah. Well, the girls didn't really talk.
No.
At all.
But it's not like there was a bunch of... Yeah, you know, it was pretty tame. It was a pretty tame show. So, yeah, I can see why this is the highest rated and usually voted the best of the showgirl shows on the strip in the city. And so, yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, that's fine. And in our case, we had never seen anything like that before. I don't know necessarily that she would ever do something like that again.
Probably not.
I would think probably not. So
it's not really my thing.
You know, but again, Thunder Down Under.
Oh, that would make me
see Chippendales?
No, that would make me very uncomfortable.
Honestly, when that one Chippendales dancer tried going over to talk to you, that was so funny because you just immediately just like, oh God, you know, nice looking guy, all muscular, and you're just, yeah. It would be so funny because the guys would zero in on you. You'd be their
I'd
Jose.
be so uncomfortable.
You would be their Jose. They would zero in and they go, see that woman that's really cringy in the corner?
The one that's
Get
trying
her
to
up
not
here.
look at us?
Yeah, the one that's trying not to look at us. She's not hooting and hollering. Get her up
Go
here on
up,
stage. Come on, let's get her up here. We can all get
no.
We can get
no.
right up in her face. Yeah.
Nobody needs to see that.
That's how that would work. That is exactly how that would work. Oh, and if you go to this show, watch cameras because they are very, very careful of people not recording, taking pictures. They're not messing around.
Which is good. I wish
Yes.
more shows were like that.
I wish concerts were like
when
that.
we went to that Perfect Circle one where they said no phones, that was awesome.
That was fantastic.
I
That
really
was
liked
one of the
that.
best concerts ever
That was
because
You
there
didn't
was no
have
phones.
somebody in front of you trying to video the whole concert. It was so
Yeah.
obnoxious.
Yeah, it's distracting. There was, at the Rob Zombie concert, there was a guy next to me who was just recording. At no point did he show any kind of real interest in the music.
Right.
But he recorded some songs and I'm thinking, I don't, it for me, it's a detractor. I know for the generation after ours, it's just a standard thing you see at all concerts. But I can remember a time about a decade ago when you never saw a phone at a concert.
Well, I can remember when you weren't allowed to bring a phone in.
Yes.
They would actually check you. Because I can
Yeah.
remember when I went to, was it Tool or Perfect Circle? When I was pregnant with Gabriel, so I only had Malachi, and I had to leave Malachi home with a babysitter. I actually put my phone, but then it was a little flip phone,
Yeah.
in my bra so that I could smuggle it in, just because that was the first time I left Malachi with anybody, was so I could go to this concert. Because they had a strict no phone rule.
Yeah.
But, back then you couldn't do videos.
No.
And pictures weren't, like...
No.
It only took super crappy pictures, so you wouldn't take a picture at a concert. You wouldn't be able to see anything.
No.
They were remember the pictures? They were so tiny. You couldn't print them out even. So that wasn't a thing. It was just so they wouldn't ring when you were at there.
Exactly. So yeah. So there you go. If you've seen the show, you guys can let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. If anybody who's at all affiliated with the show sees this, good job. Nobody there knew who I was. It's one of the nice things about going to shows too. Nobody knows. Nobody has a clue who I am. And not only that, but with the fact that I was wearing a shirt and a tie, and I wasn't wearing a hat. They had no idea who I was anyway, so it's fine.
It's kind of like a superhero. Like, this is you with your mask on and your unitard, and then you take it off and put on regular clothes, and nobody can tell who you are now. Same thing. Totally works. Take off the hat and jersey, and who is that guy over there?
That's true. That's true. That does seem to be the case.
Yeah.
But anyways, there you go. Thank you guys so much again for all your support, and I know you can't see the city very well behind us because it's still bright out. But Vegas has been fun. We're done with the meetups, and now it's just you and me until Tuesday, and then we go to the airport and we fly home to where our cats are apparently doing well.
And where we can breathe again.
So
that'll be nice.
Yeah, my sinuses and my throat are starting to not like it very much. But
yeah, I woke up this morning, my throat really hurts. On all the tons of meds so we can breathe.
And then still, and even though there's blackout curtains, as soon as any kind of light comes through these curtains, I am awake. My body goes, all right, it's time to get up. No, it's not time to get up. But once I'm awake, I'm awake. It's just one of those, I guess, being away from home things. And at home, when the light comes into our bedroom, it's normally later on in the morning.
Right, and the sun comes up right there.
Yep.
So
So it is bright.
All
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And thank you guys so much again. I will talk to you again soon.